that few moments. I think I've talked quite a lot over the past few moments. So please feel free to keep dropping your questions in the Q&A section. I do love a little bit of data and statistics, so I thought it'd be really interesting to share with you some of the statistics around Microsoft Teams, and hopefully you'll find them quite interesting. But just for a little bit of fun, we thought that we would do a little bit of a quiz. So the first question, well, it's the only question I'm going to ask you, is how many people worldwide do you think currently use access Microsoft Teams? And Erin's going to pop that up on the polls for me, and hopefully you'll be able to answer the question. So the options are, do you think it's 26 million, 89 million, or 145 million people across worldwide using Microsoft Teams? Just see if the answers are coming in. So none of you thought it was 26, 33% thought it was 89, and 67% 145 million. Well, you are right, 145 million. I mean, I was a bit astounded when it came to that. And Microsoft Teams has been around since 2017, so it's coming up to 5-year anniversary on the 14th of March. So I do think Microsoft might have something up their sleeve to celebrate that. So I'm quite excited to see what holds. But also a really good fact that I thought I'd share with you is that Microsoft Teams is available in 181 countries in 44 different languages. So that, I just think that's mind-blowing, to be completely honest. I think it's fab. In the break, I did make a few quick notes about some of the areas that I didn't get the chance to share with you on SharePoint and OneDrive. Hopefully Erin will keep me in tow to make sure that we finish on time today. But I'll try and cover those in Teams as well. But Teams is a little bit more in depth because we are all predominantly using them on this call today. So hopefully we can go through a few more top tips and give you a little bit more useful insight of how to be a little bit more efficient within Teams. So I'm going to share my screen again, Erin, so if you can let me know when you can see my screen, that would be great, please. Hopefully that's worked and you should be able to see Teams.
Yeah, we've got you.
Cool. Thanks, Erin. So I'm in Teams at the moment. Hopefully you're all familiar with this look. I'm using the app, as I do much prefer to use the app instead of the browser, but the same functionality still exists. I do think, what on earth we would do without Teams? Can anyone remember what it was like before Teams? I do remember rolling out to the business a few years ago before the pandemic, and everyone just looked at me like I was absolutely bonkers, thinking, why is this woman telling me what to do and use this app when I can chat with somebody right when sat right next to me? But fast forward a few years and everyone's predominantly spending a lot of their time in Microsoft Teams. I mean, I know personally I spend a lot of my time in Teams. It's the first app that I open in the morning, and it's my ideal place to go for engagement, whether that's an individual chat or a group wide. Teams is a fantastic collaboration tool, and we've spent so much time on SharePoint and OneDrive this morning, and hopefully this is the last part of the puzzle, if you remember the image that I showed with you earlier on in this session. And you should be able to try and piece that together now. So now this is where I would definitely take advantage of the built-in structure that Teams has to offer. So a very quick whistle stop tour. I know that we all use it, but Teams chats, what do we use? I think a lot of us are stuck in using chats. So for me, don't mind a chat, love a chat. I think it's a great way to obviously engage with somebody. But group chats drive me so. And I think the recommendation from using a channel. So as a channel, it's your overall bucket, it's your SharePoint site. It can be anything that you want it to be about. It can be around a team night out. It can be around a particular project that you're working on. But it is kind of the default view where you've got a Teams where the information resides and it's stored in a location. So the difference is if you're having a chat with somebody and you're sharing folders with within that chat. So as you can see, Erin and I have been chatting, we've shared images, we've shared links, we've shared documents. That information, because it's in a chat, is getting backed up to my OneDrive. And I'll flip over and show you that in your OneDrive in a second. And what will come up is in Teams chat files. So that's where it's getting stored. So if you're ever in a position where you think, I have no idea where that's being stored, go to your Teams chat files and conduct a search, or even use the search functionality in Teams, which we'll come on to a little bit later on in this session. So that's it, chats. But if you're working within your team and a channel, and for example, we've got Microsoft Productivity, we've got a general channel, we've got a fitness channel, we've got a foodies channel, we've got some festival channel, and you can obviously have your chats within that, which is then your overall members to your site. Now, when you spin up a SharePoint site, you can do that via two routes. You can do it via SharePoint itself, where you decide whether you want a communication site or a team site, or you can actually spin up a site within Microsoft Teams, which is in just the bottom left-hand corner, where you say join or create a team. Now, I'm not administrator on this particular account, but you would have another option here of create a team, and that's where you would do it. So within the channel itself, like I say, this information is getting backed up into that particular SharePoint, and how you would navigate to that SharePoint is just by clicking files along the top, and you should have the option here of open a SharePoint. If you don't have SharePoint, there is another option for you to add another cloud storage solution, and that is entirely up to you if you want to do that. So once you're in the channels, what I would recommend is try to use your channels as much as you possibly can, even if it is for your chats. As I say, it stores all your location. What you're probably thinking is, that's just bonkers, because I would just get inundated with the amount of notifications. But remember that you're in control of your notifications. You can decide exactly what you want to be involved in, what you want to mute, how often you want to get notifications, which we'll come on to a little bit later on. But the choice is really yours. A really good top tip, and I know a lot of people don't use this, is in channels, there's something called tags. So when you set up a channel, you can set up a tag. So for example, if I'm in this particular team here of Microsoft Productivity Training, I can just click on here and under the ellipsis under Manage Tags, and you've got this additional functionality here. So tags is here, just another tab further to the right. You can search for your tags, and then you can create a tag. So any tags that's assigned to you as an individual, or other tags. So I've created a tag of digital, and then I've created a tag of running club, and then you can associate your members to that particular tag. So if we wanted to create a new tag, say lunch, what's the description? Where to go for lunch, and then you would add the people to that particular tag. Now, if you are looking for people, you've got to remember that they've got to be part of the member within that team. So, for example, when I'm searching somebody, if they appear, they are part of that team. If they don't appear, you will need to add them into that particular team. And the way that you would do that, again, is just choose the ellipsis even, manage your team, and then type in your member. Now, with teams, it can be associated to your Active Directory. So you can, if you're part of a group or an organisation, you can just type in somebody that you're particularly looking for, and then add them as a member. So just add them as a member. Now, you can do this for internals, and then you can also do this for external users as well. The only thing that I would say is your external users, that will depend on your team administrator. So you may need to have a look at your administration settings to see if you've got that option available and switched on. So you can use tags. And then once you're in the channel, again, you just click the three little dots, the ellipsis, and you choose your channel notifications. So if you want to be involved in your activity type for this particular channel of fitness, so for example, I would probably say off. I don't want to do any fitness, thanks very much. I would just turn that notification off. It doesn't mean that I won't see the engagement that's happening on that channel or within here. It just means that I won't get notified every time somebody posts something or sends a reply. but you can just customize your notifications if you want to do that. And then what you can really do with your tags and what I've just showed you is if you are a member of that tag, you can then set up your notifications to get that for that particular tag. So if I said running club earlier, and then if I chose lunch, as you can see, the icon changes to a tag instead of @notification. You can just hit that, and then only the people who's associated to that tag will get that notifications. Okay, so that's something else to think about when you're setting up your channels. Just ask yourself the question, would it be worthwhile having a chat, or would it be worthwhile putting in a channel? For me, it's definitely channel. I think there's nothing worse when you're on a half day or when you're on a holiday for 2 weeks. You come back, you open your Teams and your activity is like on 100+, and you think, I've got to catch up on all this information. I don't know where to start. Whereas you really streamlining what you want to be involved in, you can remove all the noise. So you can remove the fact that you don't want to be associated to the fitness channel because you know that's not for you, or the foodies channel. But you can definitely sign up to the summer festival and kind of really engage in the content that you want to. And the way that I would normally do that is I've come back off a holiday, I would just go to the activity, and then I would really just go through the feed, and you'll get your notification about what you've signed up to. So more than likely you would come in and it would just be all in bold saying that you've got loads of things to catch up on, and you can just work your way through that particular list. And also you can do within Teams is, if you don't like the tag feature, if you think, oh, I've got to keep on top of that, you can always create a private channel, I should say. So when you are in your Teams and you add a channel, give it a name. So I'll just call this one Tuesday, and then you choose your privacy. So do you want it to be private and where only specific team members who have access to that team can go in and do it? So you just hit create, and this will create a private channel for you. I'm picking on Erin again, unfortunately, but you can add as many people as you want, and then I got the choice to let Erin be your owner of that particular channel, or just a member of that particular channel. And then what you've got here is a little icon next to the channel to say that it's private. Okay, so it's worthwhile kind of exploring that if it's something that you want to do. Remember, in your notifications, so you've got your tags, you've got your channels, and then you've got your individual person. So I can then say, Erin, she would get a notification, or I can also indeed tag the particular channel so that everybody that's associated with that channel will get that notification as well. Okay, so remember that notifications are important, and it really depends on how you like to work, but we can very quickly go through them. So to do that, it is you click on the little icon of yourself, so your little avatar in the top right hand corner. You would go to manage your account, and then you would go to your notifications. There's lots of different options here within your notifications. It's entirely up to you. Do you like to have your missed activity emails summarizing what you've missed? Do you like to have your notifications? Do you like preview, or do you just want to see that you've got a message? And then this is kind of the area here where you can really customize exactly what you want. So do you just want to know everything that's going on? All messages, reactions, mentions. I'm that type of person because I'm so nosy. Or if you really only want to get a notification if you're mentioned, so whether that's either in a channel, a tag, or an individual mention, or you can customize it and decide exactly what you want. So whether that's your banner or your feed is in your top left hand corner, and your banner is what you get popped up. You can definitely kind of drill that down and say, you know what, team mentions, I want to switch that off. Likes and reactions, I only want to show that on my feed, and I don't want to get a notification each time. So you can really drill down your customization when it comes to notifications. Another top tip that I really like is this option here within your settings is people. You've got the edit functionality here, so you can follow a person's status, get notified when they appear available or offline. So if you're in desperate need to speak to somebody, you're all working remotely, and you really just need to ask this question, you've messaged them, they're not able to respond for whatever reason, they might be in a really important meeting, you can basically just choose to get notified when somebody becomes available or offline. So what it'll do is pop up and it'll say Erin's online. It'll give you a little notification, and then you can click that button to give them a call as soon as they're available and hunt them down if you like. So that's a really good, neat little trick under your settings and people. Another good trick is in your chat, if you do want to hunt somebody down, under your WYSIWYG here in the bottom chat thread even, you've got the options here. The exclamation mark stands for important or urgent. So all of our messages will be sent as a standard. You can flag it as important, so it'll tell them that it's important in the title. Or if you really want to annoy them, you can just put them as urgent. And you can see there that the recipient every 2 minutes for 20 minutes will get a notification, which will drive them a little bit bonkers. But if you desperately need to hunt somebody down and save that time, you can use that functionality there as well. So that's quick overview on your notifications. What you can also do is when you're creating your group chats. So for example, I've got one between Erin and Jack here this morning, and I've got the pencil, which means that I can rename it. I'll just save it, my favourite piece. Can save that, and then you can see that it's being updated there. Because they are my favourite people, what I'm going to do is click the ellipsis and I'm going to pin them. So pin them to the top of my chat. So what that clearly indicates for me is when somebody does message, it'll come up in bold and it's at the very top, so it'll catch my eye straight away, and I know that I can navigate to them. And I've got another group chat here about Total Warrior. Let's do this, even though I've said that I'm not a massive fan of fitness. I'll give it a go. We can have that chat there, and it's pinned. If I don't want that anymore and I've lost complete interest, I can just unpin it and move it down to this section here, which is recent. And what you can do is kind of close and collapse and expand these particular sections here within the Teams chat. Erin, I've gone off on a tangent again. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, we've got a few. So the first one is, can all information from one channel, so that's chats, files and everything like that, be moved to a different channel within the team?
No, unfortunately not. We have looked into trying merging the channels. So Microsoft have got that on their roadmap. And the only option that you could do is when you're in a channel and you start a new conversation, you do have the option to post it in multiple channels. So what my recommendation would be here is, if you want to close the channel down, you would start the transition from that channel to your new channel. So get in the habit of posting it into your channels. So you just click on the channel and say, right, well, you want to post it to the general channel. What other channels do you want to post it to? And you can do it that way, but there is no way to migrate it and merge your channels at the moment, which is a bit of a shame. But what you could probably do is a bit of a backup. So anything that the files that you have shared, keep that in your SharePoint, spin up your new SharePoint and move your files into your SharePoint location. But you will predominantly, more than likely, lose your chats and any activity that's not backed up into your OneDrive or your SharePoint. Okay.
Brilliant. Yeah, so another one, I think you've covered this one a little bit, but what are the main differences, would you say, between channels and chats, and how to use them differently?
The main difference is, I think chats, for me, it's that personal chat, and it is backed up in your OneDrive. When you're in a chat, you can just kind of click on this plus button and it can be anything that you want it to be. So a lot of people use GIFs, but if you're working on something collaboratively together, you can do a number of different things. You can use the functionality such like as a whiteboard. So if we've got a meeting together and we're both very visual people, what we can do is create a whiteboard, and we can start kind of doodling together, if that makes sense. But that is just between us as individuals. So when it comes to chats, it is just kind of individuality. It's that personal that relationship and that engagement and that conversation, and those chats don't really go anywhere else. You've got no visibility over that. Whereas I would naturally go to a channel when I'm working in a group environment, so nobody's missing out on collaboration, communication. You're not having to send the same chat 10 times to update somebody. So I think it depends on your topic and the reasons to why you're using it, but that's kind of the main difference. Is Teams bigger, chats individual, which is very similar to SharePoint in your OneDrive. So if you think about logistically, your chats back up in your OneDrive and your team chats and your files that you share back up in your SharePoint. Okay.
Yeah, another one. This one's quite specific, so it might be something we need to go away and have a think about. But we have access to Office 365 via the NHS. Will we be able to develop and expand beyond basic functionalities? So I think this is quite a specific.
So if they've invited you to their environment, they're in control of what they have switched on and what they have switched off when it comes to their administration center. So more than likely not, it's going to be very similar to your personal account, which is a free account that you get off Microsoft. If you're on Hotmail or Outlook, for example, they will restrict quite a lot of the information and a lot of the features that they have available. Now, what you can do is, if you are comfortable with Teams and you use different environments, because you can toggle between environments within Teams. If you're invited to somebody else's environment, in your top right hand corner, you've got manage account and add a personal account. You can toggle between these environments, and what you're probably being able to identify is going, well, I've got features on this one, but not this one, and why? And then if you raise it to them, they can raise it with their help desk or their administrator and ask them to either switch it on. But I imagine if it's the NHS, it could have a knock-on effect, and it may not be fit for purpose for every single person that they've given them access to. So unfortunately, I don't think there's a quick win there that you're in control of when it comes to Teams.
Yeah, that's interesting. So another one is, do I need a Teams administrator to help me run Teams smoothly?
Not to run smoothly. You may need to have a look at the admin center and challenge yourself, or get somebody who's quite IT savvy, literally, to go through the settings. But once they're set up, it's pretty set up, and you don't really need to keep on top of it 24/7. It's settings such as, should I have external users? Should I remove guests after a certain amount of times? Am I allowed to share documents with external users? So it's just set up, and being completely honest, and it doesn't take a lot. And it does what it says on the tin. Microsoft are really good at explaining what functionality is available and what one of the benefits and the negatives that there could be surrounding that. So yeah, not necessarily that you need a Teams administrator. I think you might need a Teams guru, and a person who's always there going, oh my God, have you seen this new feature and function? Which I think Teams are really good at doing as well, which is in the bottom left-hand corner. You've got the function for help, and then you've got what's new. And this actually relates to a question that got asked earlier on, Erin, around the Mac user. So it'll tell you if there's any particular topics, what training's available, and what's new. So in this content, in the middle of the real estate, you've got here what's new, and we'll come out to this soon. But this is a total game changer, because this is a question that I used to get asked all the time, going, how do I reply to a specific chat within a channel or in a chat? And you can do that now. But yeah, essentially, they will tell you what has been in their roadmap and what they have updated. And this is how I knew the answer to the question earlier. It's about Mac, having share system audio on Mac. So they are quite specific to Mac users as well. So that's another top tip, really. If you've been away, if you just need to catch up, if you're pretty new to Teams, you can use the help functionality in the bottom left-hand corner within Teams.
And another one, this one's about calendar questions. So within Teams, I'm not sure if we looked at that bit just yet, but it says, can we have a month view on the Teams calendar? And is there a way to integrate several Outlook calendars, not just a general calendar, to the Teams calendar, which updates automatically? I hope this makes sense.
I think it depends on the way that you're spinning your team up. So if you spin it up as a group, yes, Now, no, there isn't an option at the month view yet. I do believe that it's been requested, and one of the good things is you can suggest a new feature. So I think one of my team members has suggested a team view, a monthly view, if you like, because we are restricted to day, work week and week at the moment within your team's calendar. So do kind of jump on the bandwagon and suggest that if you want to do that. But when you spin up a new channel, what it's doing is it's just a channel. However, what I would say is if you're struggling with that, what you can also do is have a look at the apps. There is loads of apps. I think there's over 700 apps within Microsoft at the moment, and that's just forever changing. And what I mean by apps is additional add-ons. So for example, we're in Microsoft's productivity channel here. We've got the channel name here, and then we've got this lovely plus button, and everyone probably thinks, what is this plus button? But the plus button is pretty amazing. It allows you to bring everything together that you're working on, whether that's a whiteboard, a YouTube channel, Microsoft to-do lists, your OneNote, your streams. So these are all the recent apps that I pretty much use on a day-to-day basis. But I bet you bottom dollar that you can find an app within here that's had the integration with Microsoft and what you're looking for. I do believe I came across, so yeah, you've got Calendar Pro, Channel Calendar even. So you can have a look at that particular app and give it an ad to see if it does what you need it to do. Might not be able to do it on this because I'll probably go over, but yeah, you can add a particular calendar widget to your apps and see if it gives you what you need to give. I think that's the only thing I can think of at the moment. So I'm not entirely sure if it answers the question directly, but it's something more than I'm happy to have a look at and post this. And obviously we've got everyone's details. So if I do come across anything, it's something that I can drop you a message about and give you a little bit of direction on.
Thanks, Cherrelle.
Right, Erin?
Questions for now, yeah.
Super. Right, okay. How long have I got left?
About 10 minutes.
All right, okay. Let's speed it up again. Yeah, so keeping on the plus button. So for example, this chat between Erin and I, if we're working on a particular event, what I really try and do is just bring all that together, because you're getting in the, did Erin send that via email? Did she put something on my desk? Was it a piece of paper? Just try and keep it to your chat. Use the plus. What you're working on, if you're working on something together, is it a PowerPoint presentation? Is it an Excel document? Is it a video? Is it your notes? Are you using a different app? There's so many different options here, even the website. If we're looking at clothes, if we're looking at a new outfit ready for our night out the weekend, we'll just put a link on here, and then it stops you scrolling through all the information to try and find what you're looking for. Now, one of the other good things that I really like about Teams at the moment is if, say, for example, you're in a particular image, if you hover over it and the ellipsis with 3 little dots, you've got the lovely save option. So I really like that image. I'm only going to use that yesterday in the future. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to say save this message. Press saved, thinking, okay, that's saved. What we'll do is we'll click on our little avatar in the top right hand corner and we'll go to saved. And then what you can see is everything that I've saved within Microsoft Teams. Now, if then that becomes redundant and I don't need to access it anymore, what I can do is very quickly just click on that little tag there and then it will unsave it. So that is definitely a top tip from me. I know members of our teams love that because we get bombarded and hammered with information and there's so many different channels and chats. And when you think, that's really good, need to come back to that later, use the save functionality. And I know I just picked up on this a few moments ago, but what you can also do is if you're in a particular chat, and let's go back to the chat here. If you want to chat to a particular thread and message, you click the ellipsis and then you hit reply. And then what it does is it puts in a nice little grey container, and then you can reply to that particular one. I don't think there's anything worse when you've gone in a meeting for a few hours, you've came out and you've just got a list of things to get through on Microsoft Teams. And what you want to do is you start at the top naturally and you scroll down trying to catch up on things. And then by the time you got to the bottom, you forgot to reply to the thing that was at the top. So that new functionality on replying to chats and channels is really, really good. And that was something that was in the roadmap, which Microsoft have done to try and take the hard work out of it for us. So that's really good. So that is chats and channels. We've talked a little bit about group chats. I've showed you a few different options when it comes to the whiteboard. Now, another thing that I did want to show you is probably one of my favorite features is this little thing in the top right hand corner. So we've got our avatar. We can see this is my name, this is my email address, and then we've got this lovely little thing which is saying do not disturb at the moment. So if you're wondering how we've managed to get through this session today without my phone going off or somebody else ringing me on Teams, it's because of this option here, which is called do not disturb. So if you use Outlook within Microsoft, it will sync to your calendar. So if you've got a meeting in, it'll tell you that you're that busy. If somebody rings you directly, it'll tell you that you're on a call. And if you've got nothing in your diary and you've just got a day in the office, catch up with people, you've got the availability. So you'll have that nice little green little tick next to you saying that you're available. If you, for whatever reason, you're in a 2-hour meeting, you need to take a long lunch, you just need a little bit of a breather to say, gosh, I just need to get my head down, focus on this particular task, put yourself on do not disturb. Okay, put yourself on do not disturb, you'll get an error message along the top bar there. Your status is set to do not disturb. You only get a notification, urgent message from your priority contacts. And then you get to decide who your priority contacts are. So if it's a member of your team, if it's your co-worker that you really need to hear from, what you would do is you would go into your settings again and into your managed accounts. And then what you're looking for under privacy, you've got the do not disturb option here, manage priority access. If you click on that, choose the person that you definitely want to hear from. Again, link to your Active Directory. This can be multiple people. That's totally fine. You give them the option. So even if you are on Do Not Disturb and I'm doing a presentation like I am now, if Erin rings me, it will come through because I've made a priority. However, because nobody else will be able to get through, and that doesn't stop them means that they won't get your message. All it'll do is get delivered silently. So it's very similar to what you have on your mobile phone, like do not disturb mode or focus mode, focus time. So that is another top tip, and I think it just makes people realize that everyone has different priorities within the business. So do not disturb doesn't mean that they're at home with Netflix watching Netflix with their feet up. It just probably means a little bit of focus time for them, which I know sometimes that we all need, especially when we're working from home and just trying to get through things, as well as answering the daughter or the poster and letting the dog out, which is normally the top excuse. So yeah, that's a little top tip that I wanted to share with you again today. I'm just a little bit conscious of time, so I will try and speed these things up. On the left-hand side as well, you've got your OneDrive. So I was on the file section there. You've got your recent, which is very similar to your OneDrive. You can see anything that I've accessed within my Microsoft Productivity. So you can see here, I've accessed this PDF document, which was in Microsoft Productivity Training Fitness. So that was the channel that was in earlier. You can see that I was in someone's particular OneDrive. You can see that I was in a chat file. You can see I was in a particular folder within my OneDrive. And then what you can do is hit the ellipsis and you can open in browser. You can copy the link or you can download. If you open in browser, what you will get is the option in the browser, and then you can download from there as well. Okay. Any other options? So if you're in a PowerPoint, Excel document, a Word document, anything like that, you've got the option here under the ellipsis of open in. So it'll default to your Teams, or you can open it in your desktop app in your browser. And that's something that I wanted to touch upon, because a lot of people don't realize, because what you'll find is that you're in the online version of a lot of things. So for example, if I go into budget and sponsorship spreadsheet, it will tell me that I'm on the online version. You can see when other people's accessing it, it'll come up with a little avatar and their initials to say that they're in there. But just look out for this along the top. It says open in desktop app. I would always open a desktop app because that's just the type of person I am, and the online version doesn't give you everything that you need access to. So you can either click on that option there, open a desktop app, and so it's just opening on my other screen so you can see that there, or you can indeed just close back, go back into your Microsoft Teams, close that there, and then choose the option of when on the ellipses on the 3 little dots of how you want to open it. But I think the habit is literally just getting into, you don't need to close Teams time to open your OneDrive to go and find this document. You can just search within Teams because they all integrate with one another, which is another great feature about Microsoft. So, and then down here on the left, you can drill that down to your Microsoft Teams, your downloads, and then again, you can access your OneDrive. If you don't like the iframe view, you literally just click open in OneDrive and it will open in OneDrive. And I'll just drag that onto my screen there. You can see that. So that is a very quick navigation top tip. And then under the ellipsis again, the 3 little dots, you've got additional apps, which is all accessible that you can add to, at any time. So if I quickly add Microsoft To Do, which is another favorite of my apps, I don't know if I could survive without, to be honest. You can pop that on there and it'll be under your Microsoft To Do, aligned with Planner as well, which is another app within Microsoft. So you can very quickly just navigate to the things that you want to. It's totally customizable. You get to decide. And I think one of the final things that I really wanted to finish on with, again, is the search. So the search, you can look for messages, files and more, or you can type in the / for a list of commands. So if I type in the word Friday again, and I'll hit return, what you'll be able to see is all initially. So it'll tell you all the messages, and it'll tell you the top results or the latest results. You get a drill down at that option. You can see if any files were shared with the match Friday, or if anyone's actually called Friday within the organisation. You can filter down. As you can see, we do like a Friday in here. We've got messages. If any of the ones, you can filter down again to see if there's any mentions to me, has a particular attachment, any people, and then any particular files. So really do try and get on top of just trying to either use the save functionality, pin the functionality in your Teams, or using the search functionality. Now, obviously, that is searching within Teams, but remember, when you're in your OneDrive and then you've got your Microsoft Teams chat files, it is backed up in there. So you may find that you have further results available in your OneDrive if you're searching that down from my files to all files, and then the whole organization if you have access to do so. Okay. So that's pretty much the same on Microsoft Teams. The searches, it just saves so much time. And I think the rule of thumb is just to sit, breathe, think, right, where was it? How do I find the information? I know it got sent from this individual. I know it was a PDF, but I can't actually remember where it was. So that is another top tip of the search. Erin, I'm just going to pause there to see if there's any further questions at all.
No, I think we've covered all of them. And we're just on time as well. Oh, actually, I've got one more, sorry. If you open Word and Excel in your desktop, will the file we save into Teams, or will you need to save it as a separate file and delete the old one?
When they say desktop, do they mean accessing it via Windows 10 perhaps?
Yeah, I assume they mean like the desktop app, like what you've got open just now.
Okay, so what we'll do is I'll just very quickly open Excel from the desktop there. I've got auto save off. So if you're in your Excel document, it won't automatically save to your Teams, but you will be able to see it from your recent within your Teams. So you would have to choose the location of where you wanted to store that. And the only option that you will have is your OneDrive or your SharePoint sites that you have access to. But like I say, you should be able to, once it's been saved, go to your recent and then be able to identify it from your particular recent within within Microsoft Teams, because if you're going to save it to your OneDrive and you're going to access it, you're going to be able to pick up the location from that particular source. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, that's all for questions at the minute, Cherrelle.
Cool. Yeah, I just had a quick look through the SharePoint and the OneDrive notes that I quickly skimmed across earlier. But it was the only bit that I really wanted to kind of jump out at you is your notifications. So I'm just going to quickly jump back to OneDrive. I'm in my OneDrive, and the only thing is under the cog, you've got your OneDrive settings, and then you've got all these little toggles here. So they're not really customizable like your Teams ones are, but they are settings where I would recommend that you switch on, so you can get notifications of anything that you may have missed. And so, for example, you can do an email notification when others reply to your comments. So that's if you're on a particular document working within your OneDrive, and you'll want to get that notification into your inbox so you don't miss it and then miss the opportunity of replying or informing them further. Okay, so that was the only element that I didn't cover in the OneDrive that I did want to share with everybody else. So I think, are we bang on time there, Erin?
Yes, yeah, we are. That's brilliant. We're right on time. So thanks so much, Cherrelle.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me. I hope everyone's enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, it's been great, and we've had loads of questions. So if we did miss any of your questions today, or is anything that you think about after the event, just get in touch with me. You should all have my email now. In the next couple of days, we're going to be sending you a document which will have all the key learning points from today on, as well as a recording of this session. So if you did miss any elements of it, you can watch that, and of course share it with any colleagues who it would be relevant to. So after this, if you head back to the event timeline, there's a short networking session, so you've got about 10 minutes of that left if you did want to join that. And we really hope that you enjoyed today. So thanks so much, and we'll hopefully see you at the next UME Makes It Easy event.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Take care.
everyone. Bye.